This is your Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, December the 13th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and wow, only 12 more days till Christmas. Well, it's going to be wet, or it is wet overnight, and let's take a look at our Skycam network. There's a wet look at Tuscaloosa this morning. A little blurry as the camera's having a little trouble focusing with those raindrops on the lens. A little bit of fog looks like on the Tennessee River as we look out over the Decatur Skycam. And definitely some fog down on the Gulf Coast as we look out over the Gulf of Mexico. I think that's the Gulf of Mexico out there. We're looking at the Gulf Shores Skycam. Surface low moving across the northern Gulf and right along the Gulf Coast, the central Gulf Coast, with a warm front along the Gulf Coast area of northwest Florida. The front extending up the southeast coast of the United States with lots of fog across the Gulf Coast area and back into Texas and Oklahoma. Another cold front poised to our northwest in the central U.S. In the upper atmosphere, we still have a bit of a southwesterly flow, and that is streaming those clouds out of Mexico and the western Gulf of Mexico. And as a result, of course, we're wet. Looks like we're going to stay cloudy. We may see a few peeks at the sun potentially late this afternoon and then again on Monday, but looks like still going to be a rather wet start to the week. Temperature-wise, it's not quite as cold in central Canada it was yesterday. We were looking at some minus 45 values yesterday, so they're a good 20 degrees warmer in sections that were reporting those very cold temperatures. But no cold temperatures like that across central Alabama. We're actually in the ranging from the mid-40s in the east part of the state to the lower 50s at Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. So fairly mild morning across central Alabama. Rain is essentially coming to an end this morning as the rain advances eastward. And you can see that there's a good deal of rain stretching from about the Macon area back across and just to the north of Dothan and just to the south of Montgomery, and then back into the Pensacola area. And that rain should be ending, although with the clouds and that we'll have here, we could see some patchy light rain over the next afternoon here through the afternoon hours. Now, interesting to note on the QPF, we didn't get quite as much rain up this way as I was expecting with this batch, but the heavier rain was, as we pointed out, focused across South Alabama, and some values down there. Looks like as much as 7 to 8 inches may have fallen over sections of South Alabama, south of the Montgomery area. And I know there was a flash flood warning issued for Barber County. Lots of warnings across the U.S. We have flash flood watches in effect across parts of South Alabama and northwest Florida, but we do have a number of advisories and watches and warnings in effect in the Rockies and then across the Ohio River Valley, the northern Ohio River Valley, and into the mid-Atlantic area. QPF-wise, we're still looking at a wet Tuesday, beginning maybe as early as a late Monday, and looks like rainfall amounts in that event could be on the order of 3/4 to 1 inch or so, maybe as much as 1.25 inches. The Storm Prediction Center is not outlooking a specific area for organized severe weather today. As a matter of fact, they're saying no organized severe thunderstorms forecast. Thunderstorms are expected Monday, day 2, across much of the southeastern U.S., and there is some possibility, although the storms are likely to be more elevated, but some possibility in Texas, southeast Texas, and Louisiana. This is the 06Z GFS model run, and here's our forecast for today. I think the GFS is just a hair behind because that actually looks a lot like the radar we were looking at just a moment ago. The upper air pattern stays southwesterly, so with that, of course, there is the possibility that we will have clouds, and with that, any very minor short waves could trigger some patchy light rain on Monday. On Tuesday, we're watching the advance of a very vigorous shortwave trough over Oklahoma and Texas, and that shortwave trough will help to produce a surface low in the northwest Gulf once again and spread more rain into the area. But it looks like the primary threat is going to come on Tuesday. I think by Wednesday, as the northern stream advances eastward and the southern stream dives into the Gulf of Mexico, I think that we will see the colder air pushed off to the east across the mid-Atlantic states in New England, and in the meantime we should dry out on Wednesday, and that actually should pave the way for relatively dry end to the week. There's the Thursday the 17th and a little bit of a surface high pressure over us. Now in the northwesterly flow, we've got a fairly strong short wave coming through the central U.S., positioned there in the vicinity of St. Louis. That is not going to have much moisture to work on, but notice the thickness values, the 540 line down into the Missouri-Arkansas boundary, and that will definitely help to reinforce some colder air. The short wave kind of phases with the longer wave, and we get a much deeper trough over the eastern half of the country, and the thickness values definitely plunge with the 540 line coming down into Texas and Alabama, Mississippi, and the 540 line in the vicinity of about Clanton on Saturday. Then on Sunday, we've got this definite trough over the eastern half of the country, and inside that trough there are very vigorous short waves. You can see one positioned in the western Great Lakes area. That one is moving through the flow. That's going to help to reinforce that cold air, and so the 540 line, using that as at least a guide of where the cold air is, and that 540 line stays across Arkansas, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and northern Georgia. So it looks like through Sunday it'll be rather chilly, and even on Monday, as that trough, that short wave reinforces the overall trough and the cold air, it looks like the 540 line dives a little further south for Alabama and Georgia. All right, going out a little further, and I know everybody's interested in Christmas Day right now. Of course, this is voodoo, but we're looking out ahead here. The GFS is suggesting that we'll have a high pressure over our area, so we should stay dry. By the 26th, a very vigorous, another strong short wave is moving through the flow, and that is likely to produce some rather wet weather. So especially if people are headed back and traveling, it looks like a pretty strong storm system in the central U.S. on the day after Christmas. So some definitely interesting weather as the overall weather pattern remains quite active. Well, thank you for tuning into the Weather Extreme video. James should be back once again on Monday morning with the next Weather Extreme video around 7 a.m. In the meantime, I hope that you have a great Sunday, and Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.